Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Tarot Tuesdays. I am your host and mystic guide, Lisa Gunshore, and I am here with Marlena Leonard, our incredible expert tarot reader and mythologist here on Buddhist Biohacker. Welcome back, Marlena.
I'm so happy to be here. I love that intro. That was my first time seeing that. That's gorgeous. I'm so excited to get down to business this year.
Yes, me too. I think it's going to be a great year. And yeah, I was so excited for our new show intro. It's like so good. And it took a while, but it came out perfect, I think. So that made me happy. And welcome everybody who's joining us in the live. Today is live tarot reading. So start throwing your questions in those comment boxes. We love it. So please do that. I have a few announcements before we get started. First off, it's a brand new year for Buddhist Biohacker, and I just want to remind everybody that we do take a stand against violence. We are here to generate compassion and nonviolence and world peace. If you are interested in receiving a gold ribbon for nonviolence, you can just visit my website, lisamgunshore.com, and shoot an email over on the contact page and with your address and your name, and we'll get those sent to you right away. We've already had so many requests for gold ribbons, which makes me so happy. So we just love it so much. And also just a reminder that we do have a very special global meditation and sound healing event tomorrow during the inauguration at 11:11 a.m. Mountain Time. That's 1:11 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 10:11 a.m. Pacific Time. So absolutely join us tomorrow. The energy is really potent astrologically tonight, tomorrow, and the morning of the 21st. So we just want to hold space for nonviolence and compassion during this time, and that all will be well for the highest good of all sentient beings across the planet. So that is our focus. And then my last announcement before we dive in to everything is that I am making some changes with my social media platforms and the way that I communicate with all of you as a community. So if you'd like to get onto my email list, I have a brand new email list. If you're on any of my old email lists, you will not be receiving emails in the next week. So it's really important that you go to my website, lisamgunshore.com. There will be a pop-up on the website. Put your email in if you'd like to receive emails from me. Just doing a little house cleaning. And please don't forget to subscribe here to my YouTube channel, Buddhist Biohacker, because this channel and my community page will be my only social media content page across the board. I'm going to be removing all platforms. And the reason for this, you guys, is just, it's a lot of scattered energy, and I want to streamline my focus to this channel and the content on this channel and the community that's part of Buddhist Biohacker. So I'm just reminding all of you, don't forget to subscribe and really start looking to my community page for updates and information in regards to upcoming events and so on. Those will be the only two communication channels. So that's a lot of housekeeping business, but I just want to share that because it's a new year and we have a new community platform that I'm launching. I'm very excited about it, and that will be coming to your world very, very soon. So stay tuned for that as well. It's in the final phases of approval here. So with that said, Marlena, did you have a good holiday? And it's a happy new year.
I did. Yes, I had a great holiday. My year is off to a good start. I'm very happy. I'm so excited for your app. I've seen, like, I've had a little peek and I'm just so excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any brand new housekeeping. I'm still on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, I'm not as active as a lot of other people, because I'm not the most socially savvy person, but I'm still there. So if anybody wants to contact me there, that's where I am. And I'm going to be doing a free workshop this weekend, so that's exciting. It's going to be a little bit of myth work and just doing it as a free workshop because not so many people are familiar with the concept. So just trying to get it out there and really giving people the opportunity to really get comfortable with this empowerment tool, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll be posting more of that on my Instagram page if anybody's interested.
Awesome. Do you want to tell everybody your handle on Instagram so they can follow you if they're not already?
Yes. My Instagram is at island.wise. Simple.
Love it. Love it. Well, I have a brand new deck. I was showing Marlena just before the live. I'm pretty excited. So my new deck is called Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot Deck. So this is my new deck that my husband so wonderfully got for me over the Christmas break. And it's just beautiful. It's like all these beautiful, it's like pastels and metallics. And I just really love it. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And yeah, and I see all these great questions coming in already. So let's see. I'll pull a card for Eve. I'll do her up here at the top. Hi, Eve. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Nina. Hi, Danny. Hi, Ann, Carrie, Vicky. Wow, so many great people here. So hello, hello. So I will sit and pull a card for Eve. And who are you going to do, Marlena?
I think Sharon was asking about her living situation. So I'll pull a card or two on that.
All right.
Hi, Talia. All right.
Oh, wow. Eve, a card fell right out for you. So, you know. So the card that fell out, Eve, is the Page of Swords. Here it is right here, Page of Swords. So pretty. I love this deck. And, you know, pages are known as the messengers of the suit. So they are usually telling you to do or be the suit. So swords is about taking action. Swords is mental energy also. Swords can be legal energy, all of those things. And so the typical meaning for the Page of Swords, or traditional meaning, would be to take action, like do something, whatever that is. But this is a brand new deck and it's brand new imagery. And it's this really beautiful woman with this gorgeous long hair. Oh. And she's holding up her sword, but she's also kind of looking off to the side. So when I look at this for you, Eve, what I feel the message for you today for your general reading you were just asking about is, you know, she's holding the sword of truth, right? You hold the sword of truth, you know your truth, you know the truth, whatever that looks like for you. But she's really not fighting with it. She's actually, you know, looking away from it. She's actually looking away from it. So it could be a message to, I don't think they're telling you to avoid the truth. Maybe they're telling you that you are looking away from it and to look at it. But my sense is more that you've got the truth in your hand, but you don't need to focus on it so much. That's actually what I get from this. It's like you can really just be this feminine, flowy, beautiful energy, and you can still carry and wield that sort of truth, but you don't actually have to focus on it so much. So that's kind of what I get from it. So that's what I'm seeing in this card right here. So that's what I have for Eve.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So Sharon, I pulled a couple of cards for you, and I think that they're really interesting. So you were asking if you're in a good living situation. And the first card I got was the King of Pentacles reversed. And so I can see how you'd be feeling a little uncertain about whether or not this is the place you want to be in. Maybe you're feeling a little bit ungrounded or just uncertain, a little not rooted in it quite yet. But I think the advice here is just to be a little bit patient, to hold on to the feeling of what is it that you do want in your living situation and just taking mindful steps toward it. It doesn't have to immediately show up. Sometimes these things you benefit from slowing down and asking yourself, what is it that you truly want? And what mindful, slow steps you can take to get there. It's not always about a sprint when you're fine, especially when it's about somewhere to live. You really want to be mindful with these decisions. And if you've been feeling kind of caught up in this slowness feeling, in this lack of progress, the oracle card that I pulled for you from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle deck is Celebrate the Sacred Gap. Give thanks for the buffer time. So the main advice here is be grateful for the space between where you are and where you long to be. So what I'm getting from this is that it seems like you're not in the worst case scenario position that you could be in with your living situation, but that you feel like there's still room for improvement, but that it's really important that there's possibly something in this space that you're in right now that you should be learning from the situation, or that it's like a grace period of some sort that you can be taking advantage of in this space and not really feeling like you should be in a sprint to get somewhere else. Like pause for a second and really connect to where you are right now and see possibly with where you are right now, what is this teaching you? So even if you decide not to stay in this situation, staying with the feeling a little bit and saying, okay, what did I learn from this stage? What did I learn from this place? And how can this inform where I want to be living next? Okay.
I love it. I love it. Well, Carrie was asking about her exit from Matrix Land. And so I pulled a card for you, Carrie, and the card is the Knight of Wands. These are really pretty. I'm really into this right now. Aren't those pretty?
Love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're just a really different
They're
energy.
almost 3D.
Yeah.
I love
Really
it.
cool. And this Knight of Wands, man, he is taking charge, isn't he? He's got his wand and it's almost like he's charging with his horse. So, Carrie, what I get for you when I look at this card about the exit from your Matrix Land is it's about you just taking charge and charging forward. Like, just go. It's like, just get on your horse and go into it and don't look back. And don't hold back. It's kind of like just he's almost like charging into battle to me. And while you're not going into battle, I think it's about charging forward and trusting what it is you want to do. Also, because he has this wand in his hand, I really feel like this is about you having the power of your creative force and your ability to manifest in your hand. And I also am getting a hit right now while I'm looking at this picture backwards in the screen here. I get a hit for you, Carrie, too, with his armor, that you're protected. You're protected. You're safe. You can go forward into this new world and this new reality. My cat literally just played my gong. If you're wondering what that noise is. My cat is literally using her paws to play my gong right now.
Chaotic. I love it. I
So
love
cute.
it.
Oh my God, little cauldron. But anyways, so I think you're protected and you're safe and you're really going forward. There is something about the battle of the light warrior, and that what I'm seeing and feeling too, Carrie, is that you're going forward to help support people, to uplift them, and to help them take ownership of their own life and to take responsibility for their own life. And that's part of what the Knight of Wands is speaking to also. I also think, he is on a big horse, which kind of takes up most of the card. So it's worth looking up a horse totem and seeing what the horse has to say to you today too, I feel.
I love that.
Me too.
Amazing.
I'm getting cauldron. She's scratching me. Hold on.
Oh no. Okay, so Vicky asked for a general reading. And again, I pulled one tarot card from the Light Seers deck and one from the Hero's Journey. So from the Light Seers, we got the Knight of Swords reversed. Now, when I think about the Knight of Swords and this kind of like urgent energy to rush out, charge forward, be the first one to speak, kind of like, you know, the young lawyer in movies who feels like they need to prove themselves to everybody. This is about kind of getting yourself into balance when it comes to kind of pressuring yourself to move forward, to be the first or to prove yourself to other people, because the hero's journey card that you got is one with the sun, right? Be the light. Oh gosh, cauldron. Be the light. And I think what this is saying is that while the Knight of Swords energy is constantly trying to prove themselves or trying to rush to a destination and really like be part of the scene, be one with the light reminds you that you're already there. You're already part of the scene. You are the light that you're trying to catch up to. Like, you're already in that space, and that you don't need to hustle or run or catch up with anybody else, because you are already, that light is already within you. It's not at some other destination that you have to exert yourself to get to. So it's really going to be about not feeling like you're chasing this process, but connecting to what's already there. Okay.
Beautiful. So, Sarah, with your question in regard to the V, I'm not ready to answer that question in the sense that I'm not sure what I feel about it right now. So I don't feel like pulling a card would probably work. So we'll I'm going to sit with that, and hopefully we can connect about that at some point, but I'm just not sure where I'm at with that right now to be able to answer it. I did pull for Tamara, who was asking about her boyfriend's business and its impact on the relationship, and also a move. So I pulled 2 cards for you. So as far as the your question of how will the business impact your relationship, it's kind of interesting. It's the 2 of Wands. And that picture is interesting to me because what I feel is how it's impacting the relationship is it's almost like you or him or both of you are looking ahead. Like, you're looking for the business to do something for the relationship. And I don't know that it matters what happens with the business in regards to the relationship. It feels like those are 2 separate things. And so it's almost like he's looking down at something versus it being like integrated with him. So it feels like you guys are looking at the business from the relationship perspective, but it's not necessarily going to impact it, is my sense. It doesn't really matter what happens with the business. And there's a lot of focus here on the future. So I think it's a good reminder, like 2 of Wands, you know, he's always looking ahead. He's looking out across the water. So I do think it's worth, you know, saying like, stay present and don't get caught up in the future and how or what could manifest, because it doesn't really matter. The relationship dynamic is separate. Now, I also will say, though, in regards to the business, because it's the 2 of Wands and because of the imagery that I'm seeing and what I'm looking at, is it's possible that the business could take you near the water, because there is water here. And that could be part of what you're looking ahead at. I think you might be looking ahead at especially because your second question was about a move, you know, will this business take the relationship to the water or to a different space or location? Now, when I pulled about the move, I pulled Temperance, and look at this, Marlena. Look at this beautiful Temperance card.
Oh my gosh.
My God. It's like being at a church.
You're going to make me buy a new deck. Stop
I know.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. I mean, what a gorgeous deck. And it's like, I feel like I'm looking through a stained glass window at a church. Yeah. But Tamara, we know Temperance is about patience and balance. So is there a move for you? Probably, but it's not going to happen exactly when you want it to or as quickly as you want it to. So this is stay patient, stay balanced. So when I look at the 2 of these together, and your overall question was, how will my boyfriend's business impact our relationship, and will there be a move? I would say, yes, there probably is a move, and it may actually be by water, but it's not going to be for a little bit of time. Now you have a 2 here and you have a 14. Now, my sense about this is you've got about 2 months before there's going to be a full move, but in 14 days, there may be clarity about what that is. So that's kind of my gut feeling about that. As we know, timelines are a little tricky to predict these days. So just keep that in mind. And how it's going to impact your relationship is it's teaching you guys how to be patient and how to be present with each other and in the moment. That's how it's impacting you ultimately. So that's what I'm seeing there. But, you know, there's an angelic presence there and light there. So I think something to remember tomorrow with your relationship space and the move is that it is divinely timed and divinely guided, and God is with you. And don't forget that. So that's what I feel about that. So
I love that. That is awesome.
Me too.
Okay, so I'm going to answer Magdalena's question if there is a new job coming her way. So your first card is the Ace of Wands reversed. So the way that I see this is that there is a lot of potential there, potential for new beginnings, but there's a little bit of a blockage. So this could be something where there's a little bit of hesitation in what it is that you want to do. Like you've been telling yourself that you want this new job, but there's a little bit of a hitch or a hesitation about actually taking the leap. Or maybe it's that this new job is in a different field that requires you to go a little bit outside of your comfort zone. So you want it, but there's still a little bit of doubt or something. And that's kind of creating just a little bit of a speed bump. And so the advice from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle is say yes to your higher calling. Okay. And it says, be a human, exclamation mark. And one of the things about this card is it also connects to the dream symbol of travel or a journey. So when this job offer comes in, it's possible that it's either going to be a job that you may have to travel for, or, you know, a move or something, or it could be that it's a job that you don't feel like you're quite the expert at right now, but it's going to require a little bit of a journey in skill development, but that you shouldn't be afraid of the job just because you're going to have to expand and grow a little bit into it. You know what I'm saying? So the mantra for this card is, I trust my yes to lead me to the perfect people, places, and opportunities. So that's kind of what's going to need to happen to put this right side up, is that willingness to say yes, to begin and to expand and learn, even if it seems scary at first. This is really that call to adventure. Okay. So broaden your expectation of what this job offer might look like. But I do think it's coming.
Cool. So Nina B, you were asking for just a general reading. So I shuffled and a card fell out. So that's always a good sign when that happens. And the card is the Six of Wands. And I'm telling you, I've never read this deck before, you guys. This is all new to me today, too. Here's Six of Wands. Look how pretty that is. All these horses.
Yes.
Love it.
Like a fairy tale book. And you know I love my fairy tales, but these look like fairy tale illustrations. I love it.
Oh, they're so beautiful. I'm just really blown away by it. But when I look at this card for you, Nina, you're asking about a general reading. I really feel this word triumphant, like come forward when I look at this card, like feeling triumphant, feeling victorious. So I think if you've been feeling any obstacles or challenges, or you're getting ready to do something new and you're wondering how this is going to go, or you're feeling like, oh gosh, you're doubting yourself or whatever that is, I feel like you're going to be very triumphant. I actually feel like you're going to achieve what it is you want to achieve this year, and in your life, whatever these accomplishments or goals are, it's going to happen for you. And he also, you know, he's holding this little like ivy wreath right there. And what I get about this is it's about diplomacy and about being able to hold space for what it is that you believe and you value. So there's something about what you value here that's important. I also see all this orange. I mean, that's all your creative flow and the creative energy, and it's just flowing. So again, whatever you're trying to accomplish, I feel like it's just going to flow, and it's like just going to happen, and everything's going to fall into place, and you're going to feel very, very successful. There's also a ton of feminine energy. I feel like just looking at the horse's hair, even, it's so much flow. So yes. Be in flow, be in the divine feminine, be in Kundalini, be in Shakti. You know, it's going to be really beautiful. It also has hibiscus flowers, so there's a little bit of island vibes. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking of traveling to an island, you might want to do that as well. But yeah, Yeah, seriously. So I just think, overall, I think you're headed to a really good place and you're actually in complete control of where you're going. And it's going to be really, really great. And it's just going to flow. So that's what I've got for you.
Love it. Okay, so I'm going to do, Talia asked for a general reading, general message. And I'm very happy. Talia has gotten some awesome, awesome cards lately. And you got the sun. You got the sun. So again, just as a general message, you know where you are right now. And that energy, that sunlight, that warmth is just all up in your space. And what I love about this card is I also see it as that reminder to really bask, not only in the light, but in the expanse. Like you can see she's in the middle of this meadow, kind of like Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music, when she's spinning around and she's got all of this space, right? Take advantage of the amount of space that you have and dream big. Like allow the possibilities to open up for you, because there's a vast expanse of choices that you can pick from, and really allow yourself to dream big and point to whichever direction you want to go in and acknowledge that any of those possibilities are available for you. And then the other one is dream sanctuary. So one thing that some people struggle with when it comes to the concept of freedom is, okay, but sometimes if you choose freedom, you feel like you have to sacrifice safety. And this card is your reminder that you're still safe. You can be free, you can expand, you can make choices and still be safe. And not only are you safe in your space as you make these choices, you are a sanctuary for other people as well when you shine your light and show the way. And so it says, attend to the simple things. So if you ever feel overwhelmed by all of the options, just try to ground it and connect to your inner sanctuary and ask yourself how you can simplify the steps to get to that big dream. But I think this is definitely a reminder that, it's an open field for you. You can go wherever you want. And remember, you are safe and you are a safe space for others as well. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, I was looking, let me go back up now because I was peeking at the bottom. All the way back. Okay, so Superpower Consulting, which hello Heather, says would love a reading about my shave ice business. And what's interesting is that 2 cards fell out. So the Empress and the 10 of Wands. So here they are. So pretty. Let's see if I can hold them right. Look how pretty those are. I mean, seriously, I'm really into this. So, this is pretty interesting because the Empress is major arcana, right? That's a major event. That's something big that's happening, and it's the Empress. So it's birthing something. It's birthing something with the divine creative energy and force. And so, but you also have the 10 of Wands, which is about carrying a burden. So when I look at this, I think giving birth isn't easy, right? It's not easy, but it's so worth it because you have this beautiful, beautiful gift on the other side of it. So I really do feel like your shave ice business is going to be worth the difficulties you may come up against. And I don't think it's going to be like treacherous or anything like that. But my sense is that the 10 of Wands is about burden. So whenever I see that with a business, I always think of like really tedious stuff. Like you might have to deal with tedious things like licensing or how, the actual equipment works or things like that. It's not going to be like actually doing it or opening it. It's all the tedious things that it requires to do it. So I think you're going to come across a bunch of things you're going to have to deal with that set you back. But don't give up because, again, giving birth is totally worth it because there's all this abundance and fruitfulness and joy and light that comes from it. And I think you're actually going to be very successful. I mean, even this looks almost like a rainbow around her, this circle rainbow energy. So I think that your business is blessed. I think it's going to make you happy and bring you a lot of joy and peace. And I think it's going to be worth doing. But when you're frustrated with some of the things you're going to have to deal with or some of the setbacks or obstacles you have, just remind yourself that you're birthing a brand new baby in your life. And that's not easy. And sometimes you have to go on bed rest, right? Like sometimes you have to just focus on self-care. So just don't give up.
Recover.
Yeah, exactly. And hi, everybody that's joining in. And hi, Delisa. And yes, here's little Cauldron. She just
Hi, Delisa.
a part of this today. So there you go, Heather. and I'll go to the next one. So go ahead, Marlena.
Okay, so I'm going to do this reading for Jessica. So I got a couple of things. I feel like, Jessica, you're on your way back from or in the middle of a journey, right? And when we're coming back from some big growth, some major process, the end of a chapter, a story, you can feel a little bit chaotic, a little bit confused, because if you've had a big moment of expansion, sometimes it's difficult to fit in, where you fit into your life, because you've changed so much and maybe your life hasn't changed that much. And so it's about really bringing your life to catch up with you. Does that make sense? Bringing your boundaries, the structures, your basic environment up to the level of the journey you've just been through or are going through. There's some kind of shift that's going on. But the special thing is the card you got is the magic zone. And it says the exhilaration of discombobulation. Okay, so just because things feel high energy does not mean that there's not potential in this space. And so the card says, the journey back to the ordinary world from the special world of dreams can be disorienting. You're not who you were when this journey began, but are yet to fully integrate to your newfound wisdom and become who you'll be upon this journey's completion. This might feel like a long stretch of desert, but in truth, it's a magic zone. And the mantra is, I'm filled with vitality as I joyously follow my inner child to the magic zone. So perhaps in this time, like if you're feeling a little bit like you're not sure what to do, connecting down to the simple things that make you feel happy and connected to yourself, and possibly going as far back as like, what made me feel happy and fully me as a child? Like, what were the things that I was doing that made me feel most alive and myself, that didn't have to do with other people saying like, oh, well, you can't do that. What will people think? That's not ladylike. Those kinds of, ignoring that and saying, what little things made me joyful as a small child that I can bring some way into my life in this modern time? Even if it's just like, well, I love to dance. So for the next few days, I'm going to wake up and put on some music and just dance for 3 minutes. I'm not saying start a dance class, just enjoying that space with yourself and realigning to the purest, like the core of yourself, if you're feeling a little unsure about the greater areas. Yeah.
Love it. Danny asked for a card for Mercury retrograde cautions, and I'm not sure if you're asking for yourself or for the collective, but I think the response probably goes for both yourself and the collective. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about Mercury retrograde, so all planets went direct on the 15th. So 4 days ago, all planets went direct. This is not something that happens very often. So we have 15 days of all planets being direct. So this is like all full steam ahead, like all systems go, like this is the time for you guys to get things done in your life and to clean your house and to get organized and move furniture and all those things. And then Mercury does go retrograde on the 30th of January. And so, Mercury retrograde is always about communication and things like that. But the card that fell out was the 9 of Wands. And as you guys know, this card is about protection, right? Like being on guard. He's got his wands up all around him. And so I do think with events that are happening around us in the world and things that are going on, that what we're going to feel during Mercury retrograde and the cautions that Danny was asking about is just really making sure that you protect yourself energetically, emotionally, on social media, whatever that looks like. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of challenges in communication, and maybe there'll be some technology challenges or something. But what I really feel, honestly, is it's going to be challenging us in our ability to communicate from a place of compassion, from, not being divisive with each other, being really open and really protecting yourself. You don't have to put yourself out there to be attacked, whatever that looks like. So I think that that's something that comes to mind from this card, is just really protecting yourself and taking care of yourself during Mercury retrograde. I don't think this Mercury retrograde is going to look like normal Mercury retrogrades. I think it's going to give us a call to action. It's going to invite us as a group to reestablish communication, to change the way we communicate, to be open to how we communicate with each other. I just think we're going to see a lot of that come into play during Mercury retrograde. So that's what I think about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I totally agree that it's going to not quite be like the normal other ones at all. So Anne was asking what she should do with her own practice and her spirituality. And I got a couple of things for you, Anne. So the first one is the death and rebirth card, right? So traditionally it's just the death card. But I feel like in the context of this question with your practice and your spirituality, it could be one of two things. It could be working into some ancestral work, connecting with, you know, those who've gone in your family and understanding them a little bit more, because sometimes understanding where you came from helps you understand not only the choices that you make, but it also helps you understand the people who raised you a bit better. But I also see it as release, having a better relationship with releasing things and replacing them with something better. Because very often when we think about habits that maybe we feel a little ashamed of, or we beat ourselves up about it and we're like, okay, well, I'm just going to stop doing that thing. But it's a lot easier if you don't focus on the stopping of that thing and instead focus on replacing it with something else. And so when it comes to death and rebirth as part of your spiritual practice, perhaps thinking of when you're releasing things that maybe you don't like very much, also including some kind of replacement that helps you feel better, so that you don't feel like you've gotten rid of something and now there's just a void. You know what I mean? And as for something else, like a practice that you could really lean into, you got In the Castle of Dreams. And it says, become altered by the color of your dreams. So I'm not sure if you've ever, been able to do any lucid dreaming. If you haven't and you're curious, of course, Julie Hoyle has been on this channel a ton of times. She's a regular guest, and she has lots of videos where she talks about her process with lucid dreaming. This could also be something where you'd be interested in doing lucid dreaming, keeping a dream journal. If you've ever been interested in like astral travel of some sort, then looking into that. Of course, while, being careful, doing all of your research, but that this is something that could be an interesting place for you to begin, at the very least, with your dream journal.
Cool. Well, I don't know.
I skipped Barbarella because she asked you specifically something that you had told her before.
Oh, okay. I'll look at that. And I pulled, I think it's Valeria, unless it's Valeria. I don't know, but I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. But you were asking a question, and now I have to go back up. There we go. You were asking about a general reading. Okay. And I pulled the moon. And this deck's insane. I'm really into this right now. So, gosh, isn't that feminine, right? Isn't that feminine? And so, what I would say for, again, I'm saying Valeria maybe, but I don't know quite if it's how to pronounce your name. But the moon for you, I feel this is a reminder to connect with the wise woman inside of yourself, with the divine feminine and your intuitive and psychic energies. I feel like this is really about going within and trusting your own intuition and insight. She's also looking up to the stars. So I feel that you have a very strong connection with stars or star systems, that you're a star seed, that you are wondering about where you came from too, comes to mind when I look at this. And so I think trust in your heart about where you come from, what you know, and what you feel right now. And again, it's about being quiet and going within. I think this is an invitation for you to go inside and to just be quiet with yourself. It feels like maybe there's been too much noise or too much stuff going on in your mind. And this is about dropping into the heart, but also dropping into the third eye and really connecting in with what you see and feel intuitively and trusting yourself. That's what I see with this. And then I'll go back up to Barbarella's while you share, Marlena. So,
okay. So I think Cheryl was asking about info on the man that is coming into her life soon, such as the basics of when, where, and how, etc. So I'm just going to pull one more as to when. But I think it's really interesting looking at this. I pulled a few cards. And I think that, first of all, as for when, I'm maybe a couple of months down the line. You got the Two of Pentacles for that when question just now. But he's going to be kind of this Emperor energy, but I think that's going to be fine in your case because you've got this Queen of Wands energy going on with yourself. So with the Emperor, in certain situations, if you were like a pushover or something, they might be very dominating, and it could be out of balance, and you don't always want that. But because you're also a strong and fiery person, it would just end up building a really strong foundation where he's got that focus and that discipline, and you've also got your own strong personality that you're not going to be kind of leaning into any self-betrayal patterns, or just kind of going with whatever he says is right. Like, you're still going to maintain your personality and your personal power. I also think that because it's the Queen of Wands, it might be someone that you meet through work. But the thing that's going to be interesting to keep in mind is that you also got the Magician. And so I feel like this is going to be that reminder that, first of all, he's not going to like deliver himself to your front door. There has to be a little bit of that active participation on your part where, first of all, you're clear on what you want, because that's part of, what are the elements that I want to go into this relationship, getting clear on that. And then also opening your mind to the possibility that it may not present itself in the way that you're expecting it to show up. So beyond him delivering himself to your front door, also, like, if you in the past had this image of like, okay, he's 6'4" and he's a lumberjack, and like this kind of mentality, just loosening the grip a little bit on the expectations of the external presentation of the person and focusing a little more on the elements that make up the man, and that it's going to require just a little bit of putting yourself out there on this point as well. Not that you're pulling him into the relationship, but that you are also an active participant in the relationship. And like I said, I think that's going to be somewhere within the next 2 months, because you got the Two of Pentacles. And again, I also feel like that helps tie it into someone that you're meeting through work in some way. Because that's also related to like time management between, work and pleasure, and also financial management. Yeah, so I think it's coming soon, but it's going to be really about maintaining this energy in yourself. So not sacrificing any of your personality for this situation, and being mindful of what are the elements that you want this person to have in themselves as they come in, and being willing to just put yourself out there a little bit.
Cool. And then Barbarella, it was an orchid, I think is what I was seeing yesterday. And the thing about orchid is orchids are really delicate flowers, even though they're beautiful and can be quite sturdy. So I would look further into the meanings of an orchid. But to me, an orchid means that you have this really beautiful energy and you seem very strong and sturdy, but there's also a delicateness and a need to be gentle and to take care of yourself. So I think that is what I was seeing. And honestly, Marlena, after that, I'm like so lost with all these comments of where we are. So you're going to have to help me figure out.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm scrolling up right now and I'm like, oh, okay. I think Michelle wants a card about love. And Susan wants to know what changes she should make in her business this year. So I'll do a card for Michelle.
Okay.
And you can help Susan with her business this year.
Yes. Okay. So what changes? Okay. I'm like, where are we?
I know. I was the same way. You started talking and I was like, I love how active you guys are. Hello. Thank you for being here. But I was like, whoa, where did we go in this comment box?
I know. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We have so many big plans for Tarot Tuesdays this coming year. So, and please don't forget to subscribe to Buddhist Biohacker if you haven't already. And also don't forget to subscribe to Marlena's YouTube channel as well, which is Marlena Island Wise. So we are on both channels right now. So feel free to go over and subscribe to her as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get Michelle's card. I pulled one tarot card for you about love, Michelle, and I'm just going to get a little bit of, your person, because what I like to do when I'm giving love readings is really focus on yourself as well, because it's great to have companionship, but it's most important that that companionship is in alignment with yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise you end up in a performance relationship, which is that's not what you want to be doing, because that's a slippery slope for self-betrayal, and it's exhausting if you feel like you're performing the role of girlfriend or wife instead of just being a happy companion. So your card for love is the Queen of Pentacles. And this is honestly one of my favorite cards in this deck. Just the artwork is so gorgeous and grounded and peaceful. And I think that's the energy that it's asking you to call into yourself when you're thinking about love, is really grounding yourself and trying to connect with the feeling of being happy where you are and being happy with who you are, and trusting that when you're in that grounded and warm space, people are drawn to that, and people, they want some of that for themselves, right? So it's not going to be something where you have to run out and chase. It's like, if you stay where you are, and it's just all you have to do is be in your energy and unapologetically in your energy. Not that you're showing off or anything, because she's not showing off. She's just content. You know, she looks happy where she is. She's grounded in who she is. And people are drawn to that. People are drawn to authenticity. And the Queen of Pentacles, she often has that kind of like therapist energy. So that's the only thing you're going to have to be. It's a good thing and a bad thing in relationships, because it's good that you're empathetic and that you can give practical advice to people. But you also want to make sure that you are not only serving the role as therapist or a caregiver in your relationship, and that you are also the recipient of some of that care from the other person as well. So that's something to really root into yourself, but also make sure that it's a balanced relationship that goes both ways. So you also got the say yes to your higher calling when it comes to love. So perhaps just trying to go out on a few dates just to see where they go, even if it's not something where you would normally assume that this person would be someone you'd get along with. Just, you know, just a first date, or just I don't know if people are doing like Zoom dates right now, going on a Zoom date, seeing if you guys click or something. And like this one said, it's a little bit about traveling and a journey. So it could be that you meet someone who's not from the same place that you are, and that even though you're culturally different, you click very well. So just keeping your mind open to those kinds of things.
Cool. So Susan, I pulled 2 cards for you for what changes to make in your business in 2021. And aren't they interesting? So we'll do the heavy one first. So 7 of Cups. Look at that wild stuff right there. Look at that. We got a beast down there with all the cups. I know.
Really interesting.
Yeah. And you know what else really sticks out to me is that he's holding that skull up. And boy, does that remind me of Shakespeare's Hamlet, right? I'm totally a Shakespeare nerd, not going to lie. Wanted to go to school in Boston to study Shakespeare for 4 years. My parents thought I was never going to have a career like that. Probably still be doing this. But the thing about Hamlet, right, it was a tragedy, number one. It was a tragedy. But it was also really profound about identity and what that means, and the confusion of, you know, in trying to do the right thing, right? People around Hamlet died, right? I mean, and he was really trying to stay true to himself and to what he was doing. So there's a lot of interesting twists and turns. So how does that relate to your business and what changes to make? I think that beastie down there, that salamander, and the story of Hamlet is about, you know, it's going to be a challenging year for a lot of people, and for our planet, right? There's going to be a lot of turbulence. And so I think when you think about your business and what changes to make, is incorporating that into your business, understanding how you can support people through those challenges and through their own like life and death experiences. So there's something here that's coming through about near-death experiences. And I don't know what that's about really, Susan, but it's like, how do you incorporate the shadow and the challenges that people go through in their lives into your work, which really are these cups, which is all this beautiful cups are, you know, insight and intuition and Mother Mary and all of that beautiful energy. There's also, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a castle in the background. So, you know, it's about taking the mask off, right? And looking at your true self. So it just goes back to, I think you're going to be helping people or working with people in a way where they're dealing with a lot of challenges, and being able to help them see their own truth and take off their masks and focus on, what they can control is going to be important. So that was one message here. And I did look it up in the book just because I've never read these cards before, was curious what this said. And it talked about possibility and imagination for this card, which again is very interesting considering the imagery. And it also talks about temptation and feeling overwhelmed. So don't overwhelm yourself either, trying to make changes or do something different with your work too. Now, the second card I pulled was the Two of Pentacles, and she looks like a little fairy to me. And, the Two of Pentacles is typically about, trying to make decisions and juggling things. So there is an energy here about being overwhelmed and juggling things. So do try not to overwhelm yourself. But it's also, going to be, healers are going to be overwhelmed this year, I think, because of the changes that are happening on the planet. And I think that you may find yourself overwhelmed with people. So it's about how do you support yourself in managing all of the things that are going to come your way. But I also get, it is about being a little whimsical, it's about looking at different things and bringing in some fairy energy, some elemental energy into your space. And maybe that's another way that you can start to bring some different energies into the work that you do. So I hope that helps. When I look at this and overall and look at the two of these of what changes that you can make, I think it's about bringing lightness or whimsical energy to the heavy and the dark. And what does that look like? How do you make it fun, even though it's also can be a very intense thing to heal others? So that's what I get for you on that.
I love that. That's powerful stuff, really. That's what keeps it sustainable, because if it's too dark all the time, then you just can't operate to the best of your ability. So yeah, put some everyday magic in that. I love it. So Buddha Warrior wanted to know if the cards feel that they're on the right path. So your first card is the Ace of Cups. And so this is, aces are all about beginnings, and the Ace of Cups is connecting to your emotions, to your intuition, to your creativity, but with the acknowledgement that it's the beginning of that connection. It's like the initial stirrings of emotion. It's not like some huge riptide, right? And so if things are feeling slow, or if they're not feeling like super high energy, you have to trust that it's the beginning of this process, that there is a momentum that needs to build before things get grand. But connecting to your heart space when you ask yourselves these questions, because the cards are here for insight, but at the end of the day, you're the empowered person to make the choice. And so it's that reminder to connect to your heart and ask yourself, how you're feeling about the path that you're on. And then they also wanted to remind you the Hero's Journey Oracle card you got was Dream Redirection. And it says, redream this situation. And basically it says, when life isn't going your way, it's time for redirection. When you realize you are the director of your dreams, the ones you have by night and by day, you can orchestrate a change of course, tactic, or whatever else is needed. And the mantra is, it's my dream movie. I can rewrite the script if I want to. And so their reminder is that you're just at the beginning of this process right now, and to connect to your heart space and ask yourself if this feels like in alignment with your heart. Does this bring you joy? Does this bring you that vitality, that vibrance, that excitement in your heart to do what you want to do? And if it doesn't, you are in control, and you can change the way that this story is going, because the story isn't over yet. And you are the one who is the writer of your own story. And so, yeah, they're saying that you're just at the beginning of what you want right now, but if you're not happy with it, you can make the shift. Okay?
Cool. All right. Well, Karen was asking about her love life today or this week, and I'm sort of laughing over here because the cards that came out of the deck are literally the 5 of Wands and the 7 of Wands, which in my opinion mean the same thing. These are the cards right here. And both of these cards are about making it harder than it needs to be, right? The 7 of Wands, he's like ready to fight the wands, but he really could just step over them. He really doesn't have to fight them. He could go around them. And the 5 of Wands is like everybody's fighting and conflicting, but really they could just put their wands down, right? And that just always stuck with me all these years. So whenever I see these cards pop up individually, it's often a reminder that we're overthinking something or we're making something harder than we need it to be. And when they both came up together, it just makes me laugh, because it just means that in your love life, you're making it harder than it needs to be. Maybe you're talking past one another if you have a partner. Maybe if you're looking for a partner, you're trying too hard and in the wrong spaces. So when I see this, my advice to you about your love life today and this week is to take a deep breath and to give it space. Like, I would just walk away from your love life this week and just give it a little space bubble to do its own thing, because trying to engage that energy might actually make it more static or conflicted rather than just allowing it to be what it is. So it's kind of like, go with the flow, take care of yourself. And I just think the image I see is just creating a bubble, creating a bubble of space between you and your partner, or between you and what you want your love life to be, and allowing it to just breathe a little bit is what I would say. There's also a lot of conflicts in the astrology right now in general. Yeah. So whether it's your love life or a relationship or a friendship, right now there's a lot of challenges. So it's kind of good for everybody to just kind of stay to themselves this week anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so Ray wanted to know if there are any messages the cards would like to express. And I thought that this is the two cards that came up. I just think that they are so interesting because they really go hand in hand. And the card that you got from the Light Seers deck is Strength. And I've always loved this representation that she is both the woman and the lion, right? It's not the girl taming the wild, it is the girl being the wild. And so why I find this interesting is because the card that you got from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle deck was Be the Bridge. And this is all about coming to terms with being in both arenas, being both sides of something. And so how she's both woman and lion, and you are both human and wild, and coming to terms with being that bridge for other people. Even if you felt in the past alienated by what made you different, by what made you weird, that this has a purpose, and that even though it hasn't felt good to be called weird in the past, that you're kind of like that beacon that helps people come across to connecting to the lion within themselves. And so even if it hasn't been fun in the past to be pointed out like, you're half lion, that is a gift that you have, that you can help other people come to this space. So not being ashamed of what makes you different, of what makes you wild, but instead recognizing that it is a strength, that it is a beacon for others, that you are someone who can help facilitate that change in other people. It makes you special. And with the Strength card, it's always that reminder not to let fear dictate your decisions in life. Fear is a great ally. Fear stops us from, being careless with a knife or walking into the middle of a busy highway or something. Like, it keeps us safe. So you don't want to be entirely fearless, right? But there's a difference between having fear by your side and having fear drag you along like a sled dog. And you don't want that. You want it to be balanced and in alignment, like how she's half and half. So not letting fear make decisions for you in this time, but instead leaning into that balance, into what makes you extraordinary, and believing in your weird and trusting that it's going to be used to help others. It is a strength of yours.
Cool. So Claire was asking about her business. So I looked at hers next, and I pulled two cards for you, Claire. And the first card is the 9 of Swords, and this imagery, I mean, pretty epic right there. So 9 of Swords, she's kind of being haunted by these energies, and they're pointing at her too. And, when I look at this, Claire, like, it feels like, where you're at with your business, this is kind of where you're at, I think. And I've got another card here for you too. But, this is about fear, right? So it's about overcoming your fears. But it also feels a lot like those programs or those tapes playing, right? There's people laughing at this woman. They're pointing at her, and they're scary, and they're freaky, looking. And I feel like, you know, you've got these tapes playing in your head that you have to do things a certain way, or that you're going to fail, or that you are failing, or whatever this is, whatever this programming is that's coming at you. But it's nothing compared to, like, it's very light imagery in comparison to you who's sitting there taking this all in. Like, this woman here is in the foreground and she's in full technicolor. So remember that you are your experience and that everything else is in the background of your experience. So I want you to remember that, because all of the messages and the fear and the worry and the stress and the, oh my gosh, all these things, that is just energy. And you don't have to let it make you feel this way. I know that's not easy, but you don't have to let it make you feel this way. So I feel like that's where you're at. Now, where you're headed, Two of Cups. And first off, you have a beautiful lion. It's all about strength, right? The heart of a lion is about having strength. The Two of Cups is also about partnership. It's about bringing together. And I always see Two of Cups too as like celebration. It also has the caduceus, which is Archangel Raphael. It's healing. It's the symbol of medicine, right? It's so angelic and so powerful with that lion. So I actually think you're going into a space with your business where collaboration is your main focus. Collaborating with others in every possible way you can is what's going to bring your business forward and take you to new levels. And that's collaboration with others to network. That's collaboration with others to create things. It's all about collaboration and sharing. It's also about using the heart of this lion and having strength. You can do this, Claire. Like, you can do this. You have the courage, you have the strength to do this. So just take a very deep breath and just step into the fire of all of your fears and don't let them stop you from doing what you came here to do. It's so, so, so important. I also see with these cups, one cup is full and one cup is empty. So it's how you view it, right? It's how you view what's happening. So I actually think you're going into a space that's very blessed and protected and open. And it comes from a willingness to be vulnerable and to collaborate with others. So don't let those tapes play in your head. Let them go. I know it's not easy. And you're going to go to a really, really great space. So that's what I see there.
Yes, I love that interpretation of the Nine of Swords, because people always kind of have that, you know, reaction when that card comes up, and it's all about recognizing that, sure, that's the tape that's playing, but that's not the truth. You know what I mean? That it's coming to terms with the fact that you don't have to listen every time someone or yourself says something like that. I actually don't think it's a scary card. I think it's a good reminder of your personal power and possibility. So I love your interpretation of it.
Well, and you know what's interesting, Marlena, while we talk about that particular card, the Nine of Swords, like you're saying, is the original like meanings of the traditional Nine of Swords is about being remorseful or feeling guilt and shame. And I think that comes from others making you feel that way, right? Whether you're being gaslighted or being shamed for something that you believe, or people telling you you have to do something this way, like you can't do it any other way. And so it's giving yourself permission to say, listen, like, I do feel like that shame or that remorse or that guilt about how I've decided to do things. That's a very real emotion, but it's, where does that come from? Is that coming from actually hurting somebody, which can be with the Nine of Swords, right? Like, you could hurt someone, or you could do something you feel guilty about. Or is that guilt false guilt or shame because it's coming from somebody telling you you have to feel that way? And that is the thing about the Nine of Swords. You have to look at, where is the emotion coming from?
Yeah, love that. So I pulled a couple cards for, I think her name is Clea. I think that's her name. So it's interesting. I think this is a period where things are uncertain, but it's about coming to a healthy respect in the potential that lies in uncertainty, right? That lies in the unexpected. Thank you. So in this scenario, you've got the wheel. So the wheel is all about, you know, upheaval, sometimes rapid changes, things not going the way you expected them to be. you know, perhaps struggling to stay balanced or feeling like it's a game of luck. You can see she's got the dice around her neck. But you can also see that she doesn't look scared. She's having a pretty, she's feeling the breeze, right? She feels momentum, but she's not scared. She's just in it. And I think that's the thing with the Wheel of Fortune, is not trying to fight what's happening, but being committed to just kind of rolling with it, right? So it's because it's going to continue going, whether or not you decide to try to make the most of how things are shifting. And if you shift with it, you really could get something really good out of it. And that's why you got the celebrate the sacred gap, because again, things might not be feeling like, they might be feeling very smoky, unclear because of how quickly things are shifting. But again, there's potential in this space. It's also some permission to breathe, because this is a little bit of a collective Wheel of Fortune moment we're all having. So if you're in a situation where you feel uncertain, you feel unclear, if you share that feeling with somebody, we're in a position where, like I said, it's a collective feeling we're having. People are a lot more empathetic to wanting to slow down decision making because things are unclear. We're in a space where we all get how you're feeling. So just reminding yourself that we're all in this space of uncertainty, but that there's potential and growth that lies in uncertainty. So try to find a way to give thanks for this buffer time and have grace with yourself. Give yourself some slack, because it's a difficult situation, but it's going to lead to something better.
Cool. And man, time flies with Tarot Tuesdays, guys. So I'm going to do one more. If you want to do one more, Marlena, and don't forget, we're here every single month. And we'll do some fun things in between. I lost your photo, Marlena. So Anonymous Zig asked for just a reading, and I pulled a card, and I was a little shocked because I thought, oh my gosh, this card is not one that's in a normal deck. So in this particular deck, I did put it in the chat. It's called Ethereal Visions. And I think, Marlena, they're asking about your decks too, so you can share those in a minute here. But this deck actually has a 22 and a 23rd card in its major arcana. So for Anonymous Zig, the card I pulled was the Well, which is number 22. And so I'm going to read it straight from the book. And it says, the astrological correspondence for this card is Gaia. The Well is the birthplace of ideas, inspiration, and transformation. All things are birthed from this creatrix, and knowledge flows freely to those who seek it. Nurturing, opportunity, nature, and creativity. So it's really beautiful. So this has, the Well is number 22 in the major arcana in this deck. So now we know.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So you just read, okay, Christine was saying a general reading. She's in her 70s and looking for direction with the next chapter. So let's see, Christine. So you got the unknown is your friend. Learn to embrace what's next. So I'm going to pull an extra tarot card just to get a little bit more specific insight, because it's like, yes, we know that it's the unknown. So let's get a little more there. But already it's that grace in having the unknown, you know? So often we spend so much of our life being tied down to what we feel other people have decided for us. And I think that with this card that we've gotten, you got the Hermit. So really allowing yourself some space and time to ask yourself what you want in this next chapter. Because you might be in a position where you have other friends who also have this time that you have now, but you might not want to base your decision on how you spend that time on what they said that they spent their time with. You know, like they might say, well, they went on a ski trip, but you don't like the snow. So it could be really important to settle down with yourself and allow yourself to reconnect to that light within. And really, because especially if you've had a life that has been previously influenced by a lot of other people telling you where you should go and what you should do, allowing yourself to kind of revel in this space where you're the boss, where you get to decide, and letting your higher self have some input, because for such a long time, you've had to let, you know, practical earthly mind override and make decisions and kind of like, I know intuition, I hear you, but I can't do that right now. You know what I mean? Like, this is the time to slow down and be like, okay, I have time. Intuition, what would you like to say? And so the message for this card, the unknown is your friend, is stand on the shore of what you think you know and feel the unfamiliar enticing you forward. Up ahead, just over the horizon, there is a glimmer of foreign territory. Be filled with the spirit of adventure and inspired to let go of the familiar. Turn within and connect with what you want to carry with you. Take only what is most essential, aware that life is on your side and the unknown is your friend. Hear the calling, muster your courage, and go for it. And the mantra is, I'm exhilarated as I leap into the wild divine. When it comes to the symbol for this, it's foreign. So foreign country, foreign language, foreign person. And so that could be something to look into if you find that you've always had a language that you wanted to learn and now you have the time, or if there's always some far off country that you thought was really interesting. Obviously, travel is a little different right now, but you know, you could start the learning experience with the language if you wanted to and really get that going within yourself. But both of these are saying shine that light within, check in with yourself. What do you want to do? Because it's an open playing field and the choice is yours.
Love it. Love it. This is always so fun, Marlene. I'm so glad we're back and it's a fresh new year and we get to do this every month. It's so fun.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited. I love it every time. I look forward to it. And I'm so happy to spend all this time. The chat box has just been going off. It's like I get to hang out with everyone for their lunch hour. I love it.
I love it too. And just a reminder, you guys, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Buddhist Biohacker, to Marlena's YouTube channel, Marlena Island Wise. Don't forget to do that. And I do want to just remind everybody, I am making a major change in my communication channels and leaving social media platforms. So if you want to continue to follow my work and me, you want to join this YouTube channel and join our community page here. So just by subscribing to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to be part of the community page, which is so important. And please, please, please go to lisamgunshore.com and there's going to be a pop-up box. There is a discount off of sessions with me. It's an 11% discount just for putting your email in there right now. And you just pop your email in there so that you're on my new email list. We are really tightening up our community and only to expand it, I think. But it is just a little bit of housekeeping. So I just want to remind everybody, we are back tomorrow for a very special sound healing and global meditation event. Myself and Delisa Hawking are hosting this event. We have two incredible musicians and sound healers that are going to be on. Our very own Mary Lydia Ryan is one of them. And that'll be at 11 a.m. tomorrow during the inauguration. So it's going to be a really important event. If you're looking at turning off the news and participating in the healing, this is a great thing to do. And then we are back Thursday night for another episode of Diamond Beauties. So it's another jam-packed week as always. I'm happy to be back. I love every single one of you in the community. We have so much greatness that we are going to achieve together this year. I just can't wait. And thank you, Marlena. I love you so much. And I'm so happy you're here with me. Yay!
Me too. It's such an honor to be here every time. I'm excited every time.
Absolutely. Well, I love you. I love everybody, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.